All right, everybody, we're gonna get started. If you want to get to your seats, please. Wow, it got quiet here. You guys are a good tennis crowd. If it's your first time in the B2, the restrooms are back here. Emergency exits are down those stairs. Art, do you have a safety moment for us?
Don't drink and drive.
Thank you. Thanks everybody for coming. I'm Justin. I'm going to be introducing our comedian tonight. Really appreciate you guys all making it out. All the proceeds from tonight goes to the foundation for the hospital. So thanks everybody for contributing, and it's gone to a good cause. Brent wanted to use that line, which is why I decided to do it. So he couldn't. We do have both the fire department and the police department represented tonight. So after Brent, there will be a battle of the badges. We'll determine the events after. Maybe depending on how many drinks Justin has.
Well, I'm away. Sounds fair.
I'm pretty sure there's a few of you who brought pregnant wives tonight, which kudos to you. You've doubled your drink tickets, so good to go. No, really appreciate you guys coming out. Your comedian tonight, we were visiting when some of the folks came in that don't know Brent, and they were like, man, how many shows has he done? He's a tour? And talking to Brent, and he's like, yeah, Under the Udder in New Salem, down in Flasher, he did a show. He's pretty well known in the Ray area, so it's been really good. Most well known for his Esquire shows. He did a doubleheader there, Friday night and Saturday night, sold out both. So, what that seat about 12 people, I think? Really, I'm just glad that Kelsey and I came to the right place tonight, so we really are happy to be here, most importantly. Not at the crossing or something like that. Okay, without further ado, we'll bring up our comedian. I like to refer to him as Dickinson's white Kevin Hart. They're about the same height. Similar in the laugh department. So, yeah, we offered him a ride on the way here. Kelsey and I were worried because we had car seats in the car, but we figured it'd be fine. So, Tina usually puts them in one when they come here too. But without further ado, I'm not very funny, but Brent's gonna come up. Brent Hanson, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. For Justin thinking of all that in the bathroom 5 minutes ago, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Thank you.
I was looking for an opening act. I didn't know I was going to get one, but no, I appreciate everybody coming out. Like Justin said, this was part of a charity event, a fantastic deal. I appreciate your guys' generosity. I know the hospital does. That's a big deal in this town. We really appreciate it. I know we've all used those facilities and everything else. So I got to say, too, that this is probably by far the classiest place that I've ever done stand-up comedy. Out of the two places that I've done stand-up comedy. The other being the Esquire Club, like Justin mentioned. So the bar was set a little low. Great place over there, though. I love the people, but it feels like I've kind of been on opposite ends of the spectrum. First was a dive bar that I'm in, not really my style. Then all of a sudden they're like, hey, how about the classiest restaurant in Dickinson? Also not really my style, so I think I need to find some middle ground at some point, so the next show is probably going to be like happy hour at Applebee's. It should be a good time, so. A lot goes into this too, like at the Esquire was like my first show, not sure what to wear. This was a classy event. I know Eric didn't quite get the memo there. He was digging through the trash cans downstairs before he got to the show. But like I said, a lot goes into this. You're not really sure what to wear. I decided to go with a black shirt. Spilled food, spilled drinks, throw up from being nervous. None of that's really an issue when you're wearing dark clothes. Plus, I'm sweating my ass off right now. You guys can't even tell. It's a non-issue. But the other thing is the lower half. I don't know if you guys are onto this little ditty women have been onto for years, but the built-in stretch. Yeah, we know Joey from Friends that wore like the maternity pants. This is like the full boat to the ankles. I mean, you can do high kicks in these things and everything, so it's really nice, really flexible. I can walk all around the stage and I'm pretty happy. Trust me, from a guy who's blown out his fair share of regular denim jeans, these are a winner and they're a real hit. So, it looks like it's a lot of couples out here tonight too. I can only imagine there was probably some conversations at home like, geez, it's the new year, we haven't been out since New Year's Eve. I'm out with my honey. This is the woman talking, I think. The guy probably doesn't care, he'd rather be at home doing something else, but then you're thinking, wow, maybe we can get a few laughs in, get some booze in us. Maybe all that's gonna be just enough to reignite some of those dull flames you probably have going in your marriages. I can't make any promises. This is just a gig I was hired for, so best of luck with that. I'll do my best. Like I said, this is a great place. Growing up, I didn't really get to come to a lot of places like this with my family. For one thing, the credit check they run at the door would usually stop our family in our tracks. Yeah, that stopped us in a hurry. But no, we didn't. We had three boys in my family and a couple older sisters, but you had to really budget. My mom was really savvy with money. You imagine 3 high school boys trying to feed those mouths. You got to be really efficient. Kylan's, we're probably talking 10 years. Let me know how that's going with those 4 boys. But we had some hard times. We did. I can remember going to the grocery store with my family when we were younger, like Butcheries or Albertsons. We'd go in there and they'd have the little sample stands of food. My family would scamper in there, we'd hold hands, we'd say grace and beg for another helping of like little Smoky on a stick. Yeah, there's nothing really more awkward than going into a grocery store as a family and leaving with nothing. Yeah, I think they were kind of onto us later on. So we had to act it up a little bit. They'd always send me in first because I don't know if it was the looks or best acting, whatever. But I'd go in there and you'd have to start acting like you're actually going to buy some of this crap they had. So I'd be walking around like, oh goodness, what's this? Mini pizzas, jackpot. I'd have a couple bites and I'd be like, oh, wave to my brothers like, Scott and Jeff, come here, you guys gotta try these. They'd come over, we'd hammer a few of those out, be like, you think we could have a second one? And then we'd tell them like, I swear, we gotta find our parents. We're gonna tell them we gotta buy these for sure. These are so good. And then we'd just run out of the store really quick, go home, change clothes, come back, do it all over again. It was awesome. Some of you guys probably remember Dan's Supermarket had the truckload sales in the summer. Yeah, people would be excited about the flyers. They'd get all the sales inside. My family was just excited because they had bratwurst and a pop for $1. Yeah. Probably the only family in town asking for a cardboard box so we could wrap a bunch up in napkins, save them for the rest of the week. Yeah, it's good times, good times. You know, on the off chance we did get to go out to eat, it was usually based around our report card schedule. You guys remember Taco John's used to run good old TJ's? Yeah, a lot of pressure on some kids back in those days. Yeah, you didn't want to run home with a B in those days. I'm sure you can imagine after everything I just explained, really banking on those. But my mom would get all of ours every quarter, kind of collect them, and we'd drive the minivan to Taco John's. She'd slap them on the table all proud, like, yeah, I'd like to get 26 tacos, please. And I don't plan on paying for shit. They try to upsell her like the old A's in the soda. She's like, not paying for shit. So, like I said, it was pretty sad that getting a B in those days. Like, my parents didn't care that maybe meant my GPA would go down. I wouldn't get into the college of my dreams someday. It meant just more that our family was getting one less taco that night. But you know, we struck it rich down the road. My older brother got a job at Arby's. So suddenly roast beef sandwiches were like a staple in the house. And I even did my part. My parents were like, you should get a job. You know, I was already in sports in school. What more could you ask from a kid? But I got a job at the movie theater in the mall. And it was a pretty awesome job. They told me that if you're gonna learn money management, responsibility, it's gonna be good for you. Well, it turns out it was less about those things and more about their disgusting popcorn fetish. Yeah, they're still the people that buy like the refill bucket, but they don't go to movies. They just fill it left and right, go home. Oh yeah, popcorn fan. This ain't your bar. No, it was good. The thing is, I go to my parents' house though, and you see popcorn buckets sitting on the counter. I don't know if it was filled that day. I don't know if it was filled 3 weeks ago, but my dad's still eating out of it. Doesn't matter. You know, popcorn in general, I get a little sentimental over it. See, when I was really little, we didn't live in Dickinson. We lived in a small town, about 300 people. This was in the 90s. Super safe neighborhoods. And I just remember my parents would go to the bar, once we got out of school. And they'd leave us at home, the kids, ages 4, 6, and 7. They'd run out to the bar, but we knew they loved us. They'd show back up at like midnight with a brown paper bag full of leftover bar popcorn. You can imagine, after not having supper, that just tasted like heaven to us. It was so good. Even more amazing if they ever brought home a cold frozen pizza from the bar. Jackpot. No, my parents, they're really good people. We moved to Dickinson when I was in grade school. But they're really conservative, a little overbearing, overprotective. When I went to grade school here in Dickinson, I was known as the kid you couldn't cuss around. So I don't know how you go from parents at the bar all night to don't cuss around this guy. But the first day of class, some kid forgot his snack or something. I remember he was like, "Oh crap!" And I was like, "You're gonna go to hell for that." Have any of you been around a 4th grade classroom lately? I went to pick my daughter up the other day, and there was some older kids playing basketball on the playground outside. I was like, "Hey, what's up, dudes? You guys shooting some hoops?" They're like, "Move your ass, old man, before we beat it." And so I moved my ass. I wasn't about to get beat up in front of my kids. Not at all. Not at all. We'd have sleepovers too. With my buddies, we'd have the whole video games and rent movies, stuff like that. Order pizza, slam as many surges as you could. 90s kids. And we'd always rent movies that were probably inappropriate, rated R, and I'm in grade school. And it never failed. We'd be in the basement watching these, and my mom would come lumbering downstairs with a laundry basket. She doesn't limp. I don't know. The Quasimodo of laundry. But she'd come down, she'd just stop and stare at the TV, and we'd always scramble for the remote to pause it, because you don't want a stray F word to fly while she's watching. And it never failed, it would freeze right on a tit. She'd be like, "Boy, this is a colorful show, isn't it?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, my friends are into it, not me." No, and I think some of those weird upbringings, tough upbringings, make you appreciate nights like this. You hang out with your friends, enjoy your night. It's really a fantastic thing to do. But in this day and age, everybody's so bent on one-upping and all that, right? Social media just is famous for that. You get a new house, you show it off. New car, new baby. I've got 2. Dr. Arnold, right? Please. But I was recently front row audience, so what I can only call a pour-off. Yeah, my wife and one of my best friends were arguing over who had it worse growing up. This was fascinating. Yeah, the arguments range from "Oh really? What could you order off the 99-cent menu at Wendy's?" Fries, side salad. That's it, and waters. And my buddy's like, "Oh, you got hot dog and hamburger buns? Try living off bread your whole life." So they made me the mediator of this whole thing, and my wife's like, "Remember what I told you? We'd buy a gallon of milk, we'd drink half of it, and then my mom would fill it back up with water." It's not 2% anymore, it's skim. And my buddy's like, "No, but remember when you spent the night, don't you have any Lucky Charms or anything?" And I'm like, "I got marshmallow mateys." The old forgotten bags of cereal across the aisle from the name brands. Good stuff. If you were lucky, maybe some of you got the name brand cereal for Christmas or something. I see you out there. And it's funny, they kept going back and forth, and I thought I had it bad, but even I stayed out of that crap. I was like, "No, not touching this." But my kids, they think they have it so bad. And then these are the kids that literally have Lucky Charms and Cookie Crisp and all these name brand sugary cereals. They think my parents, or my wife and I are short order cooks for breakfast. They'll wake up on a Tuesday morning or something "Is it French toast today?" And I'm like, "No, it's not." They're like, "Oh, omelets? Pancakes shaped like anything I freaking tell you?" No. Weekends maybe. But I grew up on cold cereal. I admit, as probably most of us did. And my parents would only buy like Kix and Cheerios, super boring. Little did they know that I'd have like a sandbar of sugar underneath the surface of the milk. Yeah, there was usually about a half a cup under those bad boys. Nothing ruins healthy cereal like a bunch of sugar just buried under there. I'd get to the bottom, drink my milk, and then just sugar. Got me through till lunch anyway, so those are good times. I shouldn't make fun of them too much though, because I've even been guilty of thinking I have it rough sometimes. The last show I did, I was kind of complaining about things that I haven't had the chance to buy that I really wanted, namely a hot tub. But guess what, guys? Got a hot tub. Yeah. Well, told them I'm gonna buy it. I didn't actually get it yet. It's verbal. It's good enough for now. But I think what happened was the last show I talked about, I don't get to buy these things ever. So I think my wife was so guilted into this, just this mountain of guilt on her, that she buckled. And she's like, fine, just get it, because you've shared your video on Facebook and social media, and everybody thinks I'm an asshole. And I think I'm onto something here. So if I just talk about certain things during my show and everybody's like, oh, let him do it, maybe it's gonna happen. Maybe it's gonna happen. So we'll see how that plays out tonight. Anyone ever make a sex tape before? No answers. No, I always say, happy wife, happy life. My wife's awesome. We're going on being married 10 years this June. So, yeah, it's been a good stretch, good run. I think we're still going strong. There's been some ups, some downs. It's tough. At 10 years, you got to be working for things all the time. But you also got to keep things interesting. You got to keep things fun, try new things, keep each other on their toes. So I recently started masturbating with my left hand. Just for a little change of pace. Oh, no. She's great. No, I think I've got one of the sexiest wives around. She takes great care of herself and everything. Me, on the other hand, I think that being funny is just going to carry me through the different body shape changes I have. Like, oh, there's skinny Brent, he's so funny. There's chubbier Brent, he's pretty funny. Oh, Brent. Still funny, though. That's fine. Leaning on that dad bod. I got home from work the other day, though. I think my wife, when she cares about me, she wants me to take care of myself, too. I got home, and it had been a long day of work. Solitaire was really getting me that day. So I got home, and I was like, I just want to relax, and I smelled supper. She was cooking, and I was like, oh, this is great. And she's like, oh, hey, welcome home. How was work today? It's like, good. She's like, maybe you want to go downstairs and work out before you eat. I felt like when you buy your dog one of those balls you put the treat in, they gotta work for it a little bit. But like I said, she takes care of herself. She eats healthy. She works out, things like that. But she does have a sweet tooth also. She does. And I came upon her in the kitchen one day. She had the cupboard open, snack cupboard, and heard her counting to herself really quietly. She just got done working out and everything, and I was like, hey babe, what are you doing? And she turned around, she had this poker chip stack of Oreo cookies. And she's like, oh, it's just counting how many times I worked out this week so I know how many cookies I can eat. Yeah, so she's got her own monetary payment system for working out in the form of cookies. And I like it. So I'll occasionally borrow from the Oreo bank from time to time. I'll leave little notes like, just ate 14 Oreos, will run 6 miles at a later date. No, I don't mind working out. It's I wish you could do one or the other, right? Eat, not work out, don't eat healthy. But you really gotta do both, right? And for me, I think mankind's downfall has maybe been all you can eat buffets. Yeah, you guys remember Bonanza in town? Yeah. Still miss it. I think the mall's putting something in there 5 years ago. I'm not sure. But anyway, we used to go there when we were growing up, and my brothers and I would have contests against each other. We'd be like, how many plates can you eat? Because we probably knew we weren't going to eat for 3 days after that. So one particular time, I was the runt of the litter for the longest time. My little brother was a foot taller than me, so was my older brother. And I was like, today's the day. I take him out, So we all had like 4 plates of food, and I was like, I got a 5th plate in me. Salad, breadsticks, soup, let's do it. And I did. I got it. So proud of myself until everybody stood up, paid the bill, and they're like, all right, let's get to the van. And I couldn't move. I didn't know if I was gonna throw up, crap my pants, or if I just need to take a nap right there in the booth. Finally, my dad comes stomping back, and he's like, what are you doing? I was like, Dad, I can't move. He's like, get your ass in the van. So I worked my way out there. I was like, pregnancy jeans would have been great back in the 90s there. But we're driving home, and that's when it hit. And I think I can blame it on whatever spray they put all over the salad bar to keep it fresh for 14 hours at a time. So as we're driving, I was like, Dad, I gotta go. And he's driving, he's like, well, where the hell do you want me to pull over in the middle of the neighborhood? I was like, Dad, right there, right in that yard. I don't give a shit. Dogs do it. Dogs do it all the time. And he's like, you're out of your mind. So I prairie dogged it the rest of the way home. And I made it. Although when I looked, it looked like I'd been bingo dogging my underwear for a couple miles. So, thank God that place closed. Only for Pizza Ranch to conveniently open. Yeah. So, I guess it's just lesson learned. You know, you don't hold things like that in, you know. Be a little conservative before you leave a restaurant. And in the inverse, don't be too free with it. Don't be too free with it. In one instance, I was at another charity event, fancy little event, and I let a fart rock and roll at the wrong time. But I don't really care to talk about that, you know, anymore. It's just,
Come on!
all right, here goes. So I was at another charity event. I was dressed up, suit. My wife was looking really nice. We were with some friends, dancing, drinking, eating all kinds of stuff. And I had to go to the bathroom, just take a little whiz. And I went in there, nobody in there with me. Felt a little gas bubble. And I thought, big whoop, let's let it ride. Yeah, and it was a good one, I giggled. When I flushed, I went to wash my hands, and I thought, something's not right. I thought maybe I'm just sweaty from the dancing. So I tried to like kind of walk out. And I got out the door of the bathroom, and I knew, I was like, nope, there's a situation here. There's something going on. So I turned around thinking, all right, nobody's in the restroom, there's one stall, I can get back in there right away. And to my terror, someone walked in front of me into the bathroom, another guy, and I'm thinking, please don't use the stall. And sure enough, he's heading straight for it. So in my most polite voice, I said, hey guy, do you have to take a shit? And he was like, no. And I said, get the hell out of my way. So I went and used the stall, checked it all out, and sure enough, underwear in the garbage. And on with my life. It's a true story. Some of the stuff I make up, guys, but not too proud on that one. You know, there's another like appearance item I've tried to keep up with over the years, and that's like manscaping. Uh-oh. What do you got going on, Justin? Classified. You know, there's probably guys that like trim their leg hair a little or shave their chest and stuff like that. Other areas. Well, let's just say I got one of those free razors. I didn't care at all, like growing up, until I got one of those free razors when I was turning 18. Everybody probably got them from like Schick or something. Yeah, I'm pretty sure my face wasn't the first thing it was used on. Yeah. But let me tell you, taking a straight blade to your nether regions while unkept, that's a bold strategy. Yeah. A lot of little pieces of toilet paper. I survived though, So now when people talk about like me shaving my chest, they're like, shave your chest? And I'm like, well, yeah, I swim a lot. Makes me aerodynamic in the water. Like a dolphin or manatee, whatever it is. And the thing is, I love swimming. Like, it's one of my kids' favorite things to do. Maybe I should back that up. I don't love swimming. I love sitting in hot tubs and going down water slides. I don't love swimming. I kind of blame that on the North Pool in Dickinson. Yeah. You guys remember that at the top of the hill over by Rocky Butte? They'd have swimming lessons in the summertime at like 4:30 in the morning. Sun hasn't quite come out. The water's a brisk 38 degrees. I'm in kindergarten. I weigh 16 pounds.
Southside.
Southside pool. Got more direct sunlight, I'm sure. But my kids will ask me, they're like, Dad, please go down or jump off the diving board for us. I'm like, wow, that's a big ask. But I know I'm your hero. So I'll go up there and I'll be like tiptoeing to the end of it. I do like an all points inspection, like, okay, there's a life preserver. And another one. And one of those giant dog leash stick thingies that they say for the, and 2 lifeguards. All right, I'm good. And I'll like spring into action, drop to what I think is the deepest trenches of the ocean. And as I'm paddling up, I'm like, that wasn't so bad. Oh my God! Finally breach the surface, gasping for air. And then my kid's like, yay, now catch us! Yeah. So they want me to tread water underneath of this thing while catching them and swimming them to the side. I can't even run for 30 seconds straight on land. But you want me to flap my arms and legs underwater and catch you and save your life. Yeah, I'm the only adult in the pool with a kickboard for a reason. You know that, and I don't know a lot about swimming. Maybe that's not really manly of me to not be able to go out and do my thing swimming, like maybe a lifeguard or a rescue diver. But there's some other manly things that my knowledge is a little limited on. You know, farming, yeah, ranching, vehicles, women, yeah, all of those things. So my dad grew up on a farm, raised on a farm. I was born on a farm, but that in no way means I know anything about farming. And we'll go hunting and my dad will be talking to a landowner. And he'll be like, some bullshit about alfalfa, spring wheat, whatever. I'm like playing with their dog and kicking my ass. My dad will nudge me to get on the conversation, like, oh, yeah, you guys are the real heroes. I love bread. Yep. And then the conversation turns to like ranching and cattle. Again, clueless. And I'll be like, so, how many head you got this year? With no clue where the conversation's going. And they'll answer me, I'll try to make like more conversation. I'm like, oh, how many cow-calf pairs? Yeah, real dicey move there. Real dicey move. Then it just gets awkward. I'm like, artificial insemination or can I see the gloves? But for what it's worth, I think like all those things like farmers and ranchers and cowboys, I think they're just like badasses. We'll go to the PBR every year and watch the bull riders. And when it's all over, like I'll be cheering in the crowd, like woo! I'm wearing like a cardigan and skinny jeans, sipping on my White Claw. And 1 year afterwards, like I was like, no, I'm gonna be a cowboy. They're so cool. So I bought like a garage sale pair of cowboy boots that were like not work boots at all. They're like the pointy-toed numbers that are shiny. And I thought it was pretty sweet. I started drinking Pendleton that week. Tried a peppermint snooze pouch that day. Real deal McCoy there. Yeah. But I threw up at lunchtime. So right back to Mick Ultras and Jerky Chew it was. Yep. Yeah. So there's other things too. My wife claims that I'm really not knowledgeable about women either. Which, sorry if I'm wrong, but I knew you pretty well last night. Yeah, that's, whatever, maybe it's a lie. It's not all true here. But she's like, no, you don't know their emotional side, intellectual side, you don't know their feelings. Here's the thing, women are not that complicated. I mean, they don't have very good poker faces. Even tonight, I could just look at most of you, and I know exactly what you're thinking. Like my wife, how did I land the perfect man? Well, I can take volunteers on this. Go ahead.
Crystal.
Yeah, If you don't volunteer, I'll just find you. And, oh, Crystal. That's how you're in. You're thinking. Yep, got it. I wish my husband, love him to death, but I wish you were a little bit smaller. Oh. Hooray for you. Let's try another one. Kelsey, right next door. Love him to death, wish he was a little bigger. This is too easy. And down the line we go. I got this one. Oh yeah. Read you like a book. Didn't know I was gonna laugh this hard. Being pregnant, I probably should have worn underwear. See, it's easy. It's easy. Outside of like the physical nature of women, all the emotional stuff, whatever. Women do have it tough. A lot harder than men. And sorry guys, that's just being truthful. They got a lot against them. Always with the makeup and the hair and having to schedule everything, do all that kind of stuff, the upkeep. Having babies that time of the month. Yeah. The worst thing I ever had to deal with growing up was like how to hide my boner in my waistband in the period. That was pretty much it. Yeah, then there's vehicles. That's another spot that my knowledge sucks. I'm sure the dealerships love it when I call in and I'm like, yeah, so I Googled the noise that I heard and I'm pretty sure it's this. And they're probably just laughing on the other side of the phone. I love to haggle for things when I purchase them. But with vehicles, it just doesn't work because I have no clue what I'm talking about. They could sell me anything and I'm like, oh, I probably need it. So that doesn't go very far. The terminology, tongue-tied. Like they're like, oh yeah, your manifold. I'm like, a billfold? Carburetors? No clue what that is. I thought it was like a refrigerator in your vehicle. Fancy people? Not even close. But there's other things. Speaking of being a man, people expect you to like kill spiders, take care of wasps and bees. Those are like my nightmares. Yeah, they are. Or birds. Have you ever been swooped by a bird? Yeah, for me it's like watching Jurassic Park when the pterodactyl starts swooping and grabbing people. I'm those people. I had a baby bird in my trampoline in the backyard. And I was like, okay, gotta get out here. My dog's barking at it. I didn't know what the protocol was for like bird removal. So I grabbed like a kid's shovel and rake and made like a makeshift salad tongs. And every time I got close, it would start chirping and just throw it right to this other side of the trampoline. Yeah, finally I got a hold of it and like threw it to safety over the fence. Like it was dog shit, I guess. Either way, safer than in the yard with my dog. But then I found out there was nests under my deck. And these things are swooping, they're bugging my kids, everything. So I'm like, okay, man of the house, let's take care of this. So I tried everything. Like, I made like my homemade pepper concoction. I read something online about it. Yeah, that was stupid. Just made a mess, put like hot peppers on my deck, nothing stopped them. So then I saw the neighbor's house had some of those fake owls. And I was like, oh, hot damn. He's got one, I'm buying two. So I'm all jacked about him, hanging them up and everything. I see the neighbor, I'm waving, I'm like, check it out. And he's like, oh, you got a bird problem? I was like, yes, I do, but not for long. And he's like, oh, those don't work worth a shit. I just haven't taken mine down yet. But I'm a prideful man. So my next step was I put a speaker outside and played like predatory bird noises. Which, owl noises on YouTube is just a weird thing to search for. Some people are probably into it. And I had hawks screeching. I'm hiding behind my patio door like with a pellet gun ready to shoot anything that flies. Didn't work, so then I ordered an owl costume on Amazon. I didn't order an owl costume. No, actually what I did was I just let my dog outside and let him murder anything that flew. Yeah, big cleanup there, but I'm 10 times the size of my dog, but he's 10 times the man. He is. I hope this doesn't take away from the fact I still am kind of a badass. Despite the... Yeah. Oh, biggest laugh of the night. regardless of the manly things, I mean, it's still kind of badass. Don't let all this change your idea of me. You know, have any of you ever like stole anything? Some cops in here? What's up? Shoplifted maybe? Cheated at something? Threw some giant ragers at your parents' house in high school? Yeah, I haven't done any of that. Really. Yeah. But I did come up with a pretty sweet plan in high school. I'm going to tell you about it. This was in like the golden age of eBay. You know, get a cashier's check and mail it to some weirdo. But I had bought things on there before, like a watch that was like fake diamonds, or subwoofers for my car when I was in high school, stereo equipment. And this time I saw something that said, for $40 you can get free TVs, electronics, stereo equipment, and other electronics. I was like, man, that sounds foolproof. I'm 16. So I got the cashier's check, mailed it off, and a week later I got this packet in the mail. And I'm reading through it and it says, foolproof, super legal. I'm like, oh, enough said. So here's the premise of it. Make a fake business name. Nice start, right? Oh, seems legal. And then email these big manufacturers of electronics and just tell them you're starting a business and you'd like to sample some of their products. Yeah, like I said, foolproof. So I'm jacked because I'm 16. I start telling all my friends about this. I'm like, you guys want TV? What size, 85 inch? Which back in like 2001 would probably weigh 3,000 pounds. So people are like, oh yeah, and I'm like, $100. I'll get you whatever you want, $100, $100. I didn't really think about what would happen if all this stuff started showing up at my front step. My parents were like, what the hell? I'm like, oh, it's a fundraiser for school. So anyway, I got a couple of big fish on the line. They're like, yeah, what size do you want? I was like, holy shit. I'm gonna be the man at high school. So this went on for a couple weeks. I didn't receive anything, but it kind of got quiet. Suddenly I got an email, and this is like the email to end all emails. And it said, Mr. Hanson, we believe you're operating an illegal business and trying to defraud some companies. You need to cease now, or we will let the FBI know. And I was like, it says foolproof. It says legal. So I popped my chest out, fired off another email. Dear God, please don't tell my parents about this. So I never got anything, like no harm was done except for like a dozen of my friends threw out their TVs, but we can come back from that. But this is the day and age we live in now, is like, we're talking TikTok apps and all this. We're talking about kids that are like getting scammed online. Any of you ever had your credit card skimmed at a gas station or anything? Had to cancel that thing? Yes. Popcorn girl, was that you? Oh. Yeah. What a dummy. Go to a different gas station.
He's wiping on the outside.
Is that how it works? Learned something new. But you know where I see a lot of scams take place is on Facebook. Yeah. Any of you ever actually won one of those Bora Bora vacations? Seen a lot of it lately. Close dear friends. And I'm just swiping through, people saying this would be amazing. And they all end the same. Flight and hotel? Don't worry, we've got you covered. Click on a site that's offering the same thing from a different company. Same wording. And the thing is, if the page was made that day, and they've got one picture on their page, you're not going to Bora Bora. There's probably some guy named Ivan in his basement and he's screwing with you. I promise you he is. But that's how scams are now, right? In my day, there wasn't much. We didn't have a ton of internet, email forwarding, all that stuff. Our scams were pretty in-depth though. They were. For instance, and I even wrote a couple of these bad boys down. This is like the Wayback Machine. I was scared to death that if I didn't clean the top of my soda can off, I was gonna die from rat shit. Anybody remember that? Yeah, people are always wiping it. Can you imagine being the guy that actually died from that? Like, God, what happened? He didn't wipe his Coke. Yeah. Another one, tapping the top of your cans. Not really a scam, but just things that everybody believed. You know, it's not going to blow up in your face if you just tap it a couple times. Doesn't work. Coffee, drinking it as a young person will stunt your growth. You would say that maybe I'm a good example of that, but I've never drank coffee. Another scam. If you kiss a frog, you're gonna get warts. False. Never been tested by me, but I know it's not true. But there's enough medical people in here that can confirm, I think. How about this one? This might have been the mother of all scams. If you piss in the pool, there's a dye in there, it's gonna change colors. Even to this day, I was so nervous when I pissed at the rec center. It's certain popcorn? Or, speaking of the rec center, or if you eat and you swim 30 minutes after that, you cramp up and die or something. That's not true. That's not true. Nope. So next time you're on a vacation, crush some drinks, crush some food, hop in the ocean. Something else will kill you, but it's not from drowning from food. So, no, and part of that is that the scams nowadays, they're rough because I have 2 daughters, and I worry about them, what they're going to be affected by. I've got a few years before they're starting to get on the internet and phones and all that. But gosh, there's so... I don't. They were just born. 7 and 5. It's fine. But now you scared me. I don't have the time, people. There's no time. They'll be locked in their rooms from now on. No, but the thing with them, they're so sweet and so innocent. You want to do anything you can to protect them. And part of that is, like the things they say, it just makes you know that they're just the most innocent kids in the world, right? And I've got some examples of that too. For instance, my youngest daughter said, "Mom, do you love me? Even when I fart?" Oh, that took a turn, didn't it? She's like, "Sweet, ooh, Sour Patch Kids." Another one while sitting on the toilet. "Well, I got the first one out, so that's good news. But there's another one, so that's bad news." Same kid tells me while I'm cooking an omelet in the morning, "That smells like an icky garbage fart." Don't know where that comes from. You'll notice a theme here. My kids, I don't know where it comes from, maybe from earlier in my routine. I tried to fart, but it wouldn't come out, so I figured it had to be a poop. Sage advice from a 5-year-old. While in the line at the bank eating a cookie, "Mom, I don't like healthy foods. I like cookies." These kids, see what I mean? Innocent. They know. Smarter than us. Same kid while riding their bike toward the street and not turning, just heading straight for the street. She wipes out and we're like, "What are you doing?" And she's like, "Well, I thought Jesus would turn me." All powerful. All powerful. And then my oldest daughter, we drove by a graveyard and there was a funeral going on, and she said, "Look, a funeral, we should stop. I love funerals." Yeah, I don't know where this comes from. And then another one, this one is one of my favorites. We were buckling our kids into a car seat, and they've got like the chest buckle, and then there's the seat buckle, right? And my wife did the chest buckle, and my daughter looks at her and she goes, "Don't forget the vagina clip." Yeah, again, I was like, "What?" She's like, "Oh, sorry, I meant the gina buckle." And I was like, "Tina, did she get your gina clip?" No. Alright, well folks, that's what I have for tonight. I wish I had more. That was a lot written down. I promised you that, but I wish I could go on for another hour for you. But I appreciate you coming out. This was a really great cause that you guys supported, and I hope we had a good time. I hope everybody had some laughs. I'm pretty sure everybody still got drink tickets, so I think you're welcome to hang out here, drink some more, and talk to me about opening for me next time. So, thank you guys very much. Thanks a lot.